The Ladies European Tour is enjoying the sunshine of Rabat in Morocco.
Bonjour, bienvenue au Maroc pour la Coupe Lalla Meryem de golf.
A warm welcome from Morocco's leading player, Maha Hadwi. We're in the northern part of Africa in Morocco's capital city, Rabat. The 23rd edition of the Lalla Meryem Cup, part of the Elite calendar since 2010, and like last year, being played at Royal Golf Dar Essalam. Young stars and established names battling it out over this tricky layout, and plenty of contenders going into the final round, including young Czech star Klara Spilkova. She may be just 22, but it's her 7th year on tour. Is today the day for win number 1? Felicity Johnson hit the front during day 3, only for some late round heartbreaks. Flick, as she's known, just 3 back. Annabel Dimmock overcame some front 9 troubles with shots like this one over her closing holes. Game on for a breakthrough win. Lydia Hall led by 4 shots at one stage yesterday before some trouble around the turn, but the Welsh player will still fancy her chances. But it's the tournament favourite at the start of the week who's living up to that billing, with Suzann Pettersen leading the way thanks to 3 subpar rounds. The world number 17 with a 1-shot lead over Lydia Hall. Dimmock a further stroke back. Krista Backer 3 off the lead, with Kelsey McDonald finishing with 4 straight birdies to produce the low score of the week on day 3. The top 10 separated by just 5 shots. Hello to you, I'm Richard Kaufman alongside former LET player Alison Whitaker. Day 4 of the Lalla Meryem Cup coming from the blue course at Royal Golf Dar Essalam, where the defending champion is Nuria Iturios, and she's inside that top 10 right now. A par 72, just 6,600 yards. They've made a few changes since last year's event. Lovely scoring conditions. Alison, Suzann Pettersen, I take it, the red-hot favourite still?
You'd have to think so. I mean, she really is in a class of her own here this week. But I tell you what more could you want from a final day in terms of the weather? It's absolutely perfect. Barely a breath of wind out there at the moment. So we're going to see some of these players go low. There's already some great scores out on the golf course, but I think we're going to see plenty more birdies today than the other days.
Yeah, very different to 12 months ago. I should say 11 months ago. Of course, this event was played in May when we had horrible, cold, wet conditions, and one of the rounds of the season from Nuria Iturios, 4 shots better than anyone else's 65. 65 from some of the chasing pack. Would that be enough for them maybe to get past someone like Pettersen at the top?
I think if you were within 3 and you pumped out a 65 today, then you'd be taking some silverware home with you later tonight on the flight over to Spain next week.
So here's how the leaderboard stands right now. Suzann Pettersen has just birdied 6 and 7 after starting with 5 straight pars, but 2 under for the day. Annabel Dimmock, well, she birdied the opening 2 holes and matched Pettersen with a birdie at that 7th hole. Remember, that was a hole where she had some big troubles yesterday. So it's the young English player who's the challenger really right now to Pettersen, although Klara Spilkova with 3 birdies in the space of 4 holes from the 5th going really well. Lydia Hall, up and down kind of day, couple of birdies, a double, a bogey in there as well. And Nora Tamarin, who finished top 10 last year, going well again. Look at that from Georgia Hall. 5 birdies on the card has taken her into a tie for 6th. Not really happening for Felicity Johnson, and I mentioned the defending champion inside the top 10. There is Nuria Iturios now at 1 under par. Jenny Haglin, one of the 21 rookies in the field, putting up a very good performance, isn't she? Agat Suzann, another of the new faces on the LET this season. Gemma Dryber, her 2nd year on tour. She was the first round leader after a 68. 22 career titles. So she knows what it's about. She knows how to get the job done, and she had to stay patient, didn't she, in this final round? This was getting up and down at the par 5-6, Alison.
Just judging this one absolutely to perfection out of the rough. And that would lead on to her first birdie of the day. Seems pretty relaxed out there so far. And this was the putt that would drop. So bogey free till this point.
Yeah, she was sharing the lead at this point as well with Annabel Dimmock. Dimmock could only make par at that hole, but then they came to the 7th. Similar range putt for Suzann. And, well, if she gets that putter hot, she's going to be a tough person to knock off the top, isn't she?
I think the main key for her today is going to be her ball striking. Her distance control, particularly with her irons, has been a little bit off this week. It's been some uncharacteristic golf so far, but I think if she gets her eye in, she'll be the one to watch. So this is the par 3, 8th green, and our final group. Wouldn't Lydia Hall love to just erase the holes from 4 to 7 off her scorecard? Double and a bogey on her card today. And it was, well, a bogey for her yesterday on 6, 7, 8. So that's a section of a golf course that she'll be happy to be through.
No one really threatening the hole with the tee shot, this par 3 8th. Much kinder pin position today with the pin at the back, given those 3 front bunkers, but she's just rolled in another couple of nice putts, hasn't she, on the last 2 greens. This is for a birdie for the Norwegian to try and get to 9 under par.
Should move quite substantially left to right.
Another good-looking putt, wasn't it, from Pettersen? Obviously her first look at this golf course. She wasn't here last year. Of course, it's in excellent condition. It's been closed since February ahead of this event. Made a fair few changes, added 19 new bunkers, remodeled a lot of the ones that were here already.
Yeah, I like that. It's obviously down, isn't it?
Yeah.
Always interesting to watch the player-caddy relationship, isn't it? Obviously, Annabel very confident with Max carrying the bag and relying on him for some of the reads.
Every player is different. Some players require a lot of discussion. Some are quite autonomous. For a share of the lead for Dimmock. It's definitely a good effort. She's done quite a bit of work on her putting over the last 5 months. When we saw her playing Qatar, she had her hands quite low. She was standing a long way from the ball, and the toe of the putter head was up in the air. And it's almost the opposite now. She's moving closer, putting toe down. So that's an area of improvement.
Michael Wood. And the man on his left, the CEO of the Ladies European Tour, Ivan Kurdovesh. Obviously trying to keep their eye on the action, like we are here. Not being the day so far that Lydia Hall would want. In fact, very similar to yesterday, very up and down. Some good and some indifferent golf in there as well. Would have got a good read off Pettersen's putt. Those birds are noisy, aren't they?
Well, I know that there is a lot of wildlife out on this golf course. There's falcons, storks. I've been told that there are bush pigs, but I'm yet to see one. So if you keep an eye out for Pumba today, let me know if you spot him.
Well, we saw a lovely tortoise up by the 18th green the other day. In fact, he was going faster than some of the players out there. No, that's a bit hard. Well, no birdie for Suzann at this hole, but this to keep the bogeys off the card. And she's where she wants to be right now, top of the leaderboard. I'm not sure if something put her off there, or she just didn't feel comfortable with the putt. She started the whole pre-putt routine all over again.
Definitely was put off. She does stand over the ball before she goes back and gets into a pre-shot routine. But you'll notice that her caddy, David Jones, will also come back in, which is something that caddies don't always do when the players put off. He resets as well.
Well, there's no doubt she was in form heading into this week after that third place finish at the first major of the year, the ANA Inspiration. Two players going well from a little further back. One is Georgia Hall, and the other is this young lady, Klara Spilkova, from the Czech Republic.
She was just a teenager when we got to know Klara, when she burst onto the scene. And you can imagine the kind of crowds that she drew in all of our events in the Czech Republic. Always dealt with it with such class and poise.
Oh, that's another quality golf shot. Fantastic from Spilkova.
Chance to get to 4 under par for her round today. And a great opportunity at that.
22, and she's almost played 100 Ladies European Tour events already. So, pars all round at the 8th. This is up at 9.
Big downhill slope. This green runs from front to back. And that's a great putt there. As playing partners said, Krista Backer and Kelsey McDonald.
Well, I've given Annabel this. Hopefully she doesn't let anyone down. Indeed, she doesn't. And off to the 9th hole.
Let's take a look at it. Now, the tee the last 2 days has been moved forward 20 yards. So it's playing 366. That bunker on the left is new, and it's only around about 200 to carry today. So a lot of the players will be taking that line on the left, which is nice because it gives you a club with a little bit of spin on it to a green that runs from the front to the back.
So with the tee up, playing 366 today.
Really the only thing you don't want to do off the tee is run through the fairway, because there's a huge tree over on the right-hand side that will block you out and not let you get up and over it to the green.
How much do you think it helped Annabel, the fact that she played with Suzann yesterday?
Oh, I definitely think having the experience of yesterday and then not being just launched into this situation on a final round is very advantageous. I feel like she really got a lot of those nerves out on the front 9 yesterday.
She felt the one part of her game yesterday that wasn't clicking was her driving, but I mean, that's almost dead centre, isn't it?
Well, she's only hitting 55% of fairways going into today, so I can understand why she was feeling as though it was a little lacklustre, but you shake it off because Suzann Pettersen also hitting 55%. So fairways at a premium out here on the blue course.
Yeah, it is a tight course, very similar if you've been watching the action on the European Tour on the red course, where they're playing the Trophy Hassan there, although that 1,000 yards longer, the men's course.
Yeah. is not where you want to be. So Lydia Hall might be blocked out by those trees on the right-hand side. We'll have to wait and see.
Well, of course, we're edging closer to the Solheim Cup and the qualification process that's going on. Number one on the points list coming into the week is the 21-year-old from Bournemouth, Georgia Hall. And she's putting in a fine final round effort. Birdies at the second and third, followed more at 7 and 8. She did drop a shot at 9. But came out really well out of the bunker on 10 and came away with a good par, Anderson.
That was a great shot out of the bunker. I didn't think she'd get anywhere near that green, but let alone have a birdie chance. And this, her approach into the 11th hole. The 11th has been playing the second hardest hole on the golf course this week. And a birdie opportunity there for the English youngster coming in pretty handy.
Yeah, birdie she would take to get herself to 2 under par. Tied for 6th. Remember, they get Solheim Cup points by finishing in the top 10. So these could be vital birdies that Georgia is making in this final round. Then on to the par 3 12, playing 167 yards today and almost taking the flag out. Unfortunately, she couldn't make the putt, but this is an excellent final day she's putting together.
After admitting on the first 2 days that she wasn't playing that great, and then yesterday going out and not having the best day, 76. So in round 3, a bit of a lackluster putt there on 12.
How do you think she would handle going to Des Moines and taking on the Americans in the Solheim?
I think that she is completely ready for it. Even at such a young age, I do think that she's one of those players that doesn't get fazed by much on the golf course.
This at the 13th, another birdie look for Georgia. Yet to get a LET breakthrough, but she's been so consistent. 8 top 10s last season, and she's about to get another one here after finishing 3rd already this season at the World Ladies Championship. Is she ever outside the top 10? Thought it might happen this week, but not with this final round she's putting together. Currently 4 under for the day. But it's the very top of the leaderboard, of course, where our full attention is, and it's Suzann Pettersen safely down the fairway at 9 with a 1-shot advantage over Annabel Dimmock. Another birdie chance coming up for Klara Spilkova at 10. She's going great guns. They are the top 3 in this final round of the Lalla Meryem Cup. Just looking through the top 20, not quite the day she was hoping for. Kelsey McDonald after her brilliance yesterday, 4 bogeys, 1 drop shot.
Ideal position to attack the pin here for Suzann Pettersen. Just a short iron in hand. Pretty handy. Not too many players will be going to the left of this pin, just with that bunker front left looming. I think we're going to see Suzann just try and give herself as many chances at making birdie today as possible. Her experience shining through.
She can be an intimidating opponent, but Annabel just needs to obviously just focus on what she's doing.
I think having a caddy that she knows on the bag is helpful for Annabel as well. If she had a local caddy and was out on her own, I think it might be a little more unsettling.
Yeah, nicely played too.
So the question is, what kind of shot can Lydia Hall play? And as feared, that big tree's in the way. Can throw it over it though. But will it have the legs to get to the green? It seems not.
Well, 4 back now, Lydia Hall. Still 9 holes to come after this. There's always a few twists and turns. Now, Spilkova on a bit of a charge. This for a 4th birdie in 6 holes. And she's within 2. Here's the defending champion.
Trucking along pretty solidly so far today. Just 2 under par. Made the turn in 34 and pars since then to this on 13. So a chance for birdie number 3 of the day. She made a charge in the final round last year. That's 65. I believe she was 2 shots back from Florentina Parker going into that final round and just absolutely turfed the rest of the field. Didn't even give them a look in.
Yeah, it was incredible, wasn't it? So work to do here for Lydia. She's kind of now at the stage of this tournament where she can't really afford too many more mistakes, can she?
Well, especially given walking onto the 9th tee, 7 of the hardest holes on the golf course are between 9 and 18. So it's not a part of the golf course you're expecting to pick up too many shots, especially 10 and 11, quite challenging. Needs check. And won't get it. So still not on the putting surface for Lydia Hall.
Yeah, we were mentioning Solheim Cup before. If she could have won here, she would have gone 4th on the points list, which of course would be in the team as of now. Of course, a lot of chopping and changing between now and the end of the qualification period after the Women's British Open.
Tough angle here for Flick Johnson. And that is such a good shot. It's so hard to control your spin out of this rough now. It's a mixture of roughs, and it's kikuyu and rye, and there's a little bit of meadow grass on the fairway. So it's a combination that these players aren't used to playing out of.
Well, she said yesterday, didn't she, after the round, not at her best. Decent job, she described her 3rd round efforts as. But this is the business end now of the tournament. We're heading for the back 9 on the final day. And it's where you would probably think, given the closest competition's a 20-year-old English player who's not been in this position too much before, then it's Klara Spilkova, who of course hasn't won on the Ladies European Tour either. It should be where the experience really counts for Suzann.
I think so. I think the advantage that Klara has is the fact that she's 2 groups back. So she's in the 3rd to last group. So she's not going to be watching what the groups in front do when she gets to the leaderboard. So an advantage for her at least, but it's a long way to go to the top.
Interesting that another experienced, determined character won on the LPGA early this morning. Christy Kerr back in the winner's circle. Suzann hasn't won, of course, since 2015.
Pretty good roll there, despite it not dropping. But Christy was also a factor in the ANA inspiration in the first few rounds, and she's been playing some great golf this year. And you know, players like Suzann and Christy are those in that caliber that rise to the occasion, especially in Solheim years. Just when you count them out, there they are.
Well, she's not had a top 10 since her win here last year, Nuria Turios. And maybe that's one of the reasons why I'm missing out on a great birdie chance at 13. Still 2 under for the day. Tied 11th. In fact, I understand that was a par putt she missed there, so a drop shot for Nuria. And she's back to level par. So this to head to the back nine in a share of the lead for Annabel Dimmock. Not to be, but that is an excellent front nine. Bear in mind, she's in the final group, in the final row, playing with someone like Suzann Pettersen. She's just gone to the turn in 33 shots.
Back up the hill, a little right to left.
Even at this early stage, you feel must make. 5 back now, Lydia Hall.
I can't help but think that Lyd really needed to get through the stretch between 4 and 8 after the horrors of yesterday unscathed, just to give herself a little bit of a springboard into that back nine, which is definitely the harder of the two nines.
Led by 1 overnight, still leads by 1. Two under today, Caroline Lampert. Important round this for her. She came through Q School last year, same again this year. So if she can get some early money on the board, it will give her some real security.
On the right on 11 today, and Tamminen perhaps just only a yard or two short of a very good shot there.
Yeah, going well in this group, aren't they? Of course, none better than Spilkova. Not quite on the green. Looks like those ducks might be heading for it in a moment.
You know, we really have to take our hats off to the green staff here and Nicholas Coates, who has got this golf course in such incredible shape, partially because they didn't let anyone on it for the last few months, but the work that they've done, especially with those 19 new bunkers, they've put them in really good places, and I know that that wasn't done without a lot of care. You don't change Trent Jones golf courses without thinking it through, but the players have been receiving the changes with very complimentary things to say.
'23rd edition of this event, although it's only been on the Ladies European Tour since 2010. Been some famous winners as well, if you think about it, since it's been on the LET calendar. Area Jitanagan won in 2013. Charlie Hole's first pro title came here in 2014. Is it going to be Pettersen in 2017? Into the back nine we go. Well, she has avoided the bunker. Seems to be sitting okay.
It's all going to depend on whether there's actually a second section of the bunker over on the left-hand side, so she might have a regular stance, or the lip of that bunker might actually come into play.
Said yesterday, didn't she? Very important on this golf course, particularly with it drying out, to find the fairways, because that looked maybe a potential fly lie as well, didn't it?
Very much so. She was left off this tee yesterday, Lydia Hall, and well, it's not quite as bad. It was tree trouble in round 3, but that has found the sand.
Yeah, slipping away, isn't it, for Lydia? In contention in Dubai, of course, the end of last year. Well, what a big back nine it is for this young lady, just 20 years of age. A real amateur star, but yet to really show the goods in the pro game. She's had her problems with her back, but growing in confidence, obviously. I need to watch that one. She played Curtis Cup, Junior Ryder Cup, and then she had that back injury first year as a pro and had to completely remodel her swing to allow her to continue playing. There was a point where she actually doubted whether she, might be able to carry things on. Brilliant.
How good is that from Carolyn Lampert?
They have the Q School for the Ladies European Tour in Morocco, and she's finished 3rd there the last 2 years. Of course, she doesn't want to go back to Q School at the end of this year.
She actually won one of the pre-qualifiers on the red course across the road here at Royal Golf Dar Essalam back in 2013, and she did that by 7 shots. So she does have good memories in this part of the world.
Yeah, that red course is where they're playing the men's event on the European Tour. Good to see Carly Booth finding some form again. Started the round with a bogey, but she's picked up 3 birdies since then. Said last night, she's very busy on social media, that her nails were ready for Sunday. I can't think too many players have tweeted that ahead of the final round on the European Tour.
Can't see Suzann popping that one out. Tamminen. A lackluster effort there from the front edge of 11.
Looking for her first win as a married lady, of course. Marrying her husband, Christian, who she married in January, is here cheering her on. Of course, a number of potential Saham Cup stars, the likes of Mel Reid and Arthur Munoz and Carlos Saganda. They're playing next week, aren't they, in Spain? Karen Ishe, Anna Nordqvist as well. Suzann deciding this was her week to play in Europe.
I think it was purely just scheduling for her. As we watch the part of Klara Spilkova come up a little bit short, but I was wondering if it was a strategic play from Suzann coming this week rather than next week, and just kind of stamping some authority on this event, which she's certainly done so far this week, given that she's really bringing her B+ game, if anything, at the moment. But she said that she wanted to play a couple of events back in the States. I think it was Texas she wanted to tee it up at, so that clashed with the week after next.
Remains 2 back, does Spilkova.
one of the raised greens on this golf course, the 10th. It's important to get the club right. Anything within a yard or two of the edge of the green will filter off.
Misjudgment there for sure from Annabel. Is that adrenaline or just a missed club?
I'm going to say that she pulled the wrong club on that one, just because it looked like a good strike.
I mean, she flew the flag by a distance, didn't she?
It's 97 yards to the front of the green from the back edge of this bunker, and just not getting enough of it. So from the sand back into the sand for Lydia Hall.
Just a par left for Nora Tamanen. Back-to-back bogeys to start the back nine. It can prove very expensive when you give away shots over the closing holes. And big difference, seeing as we've got the men here this week in the prize money. €67,500 to the winner of the Lalla Meryem Cup. It's close to 400,000 for the men at the Trophy Hassan Dirt.
Very attackable hole location. You're on 12. Par bogey so far for Klara, but a chance to right those wrongs with that putt.
Your number in your hand is 106.
So 106.
Final number. You can get that up comfortably? Well, then we can screw that. Okay.
Apparently she has about 30 different yardages written down for the different wedges she hit. So you have to be right on top of it as a caddy, don't you?
I'm sure David has those in his back pocket too. Came out low and hot. We knew off the stance that it was always going to be a tricky shot.
Yeah, apologies if you did pick up some language. Unfortunately, that can be Suzann's way now and again. Might not be the last. In fact, when she was with Butch Harmon, she said they're a good partnership, but they both have sailors' mouths. She's no longer with Butch. She's found it hard to see him when she wanted, because of course Butch very busy with some of the players on the PGA Tour. Just off the green, but hole high for Lampert at the par 3/12. Yeah, working with Jorge Parada now, and obviously from what we've seen a couple of weeks ago at the A&A Inspiration in here, it looks like those changes they're making are working well.
I know Jorge's specialty amongst, well, almost the rest of the golf game is definitely putting, so that's something that is really going to help Suzann. Part of her game that she's admitted could always
Now, obviously,
use some help.
Both of them are in the bunker here, so obviously we can't see, but the way they're looking is if their balls are maybe pretty close together.
Even someone might be up against a rake.
But you can mark it and then just...
No, rake's out.
Yep, can we mark
That's
it
why.
and then move one club length across?
You can move it club heads if you want to.
And move a full club length.
Yeah. But then we're going to move it a club head and then put a marker down. We can set it aside if you want.
Yeah. You might have to move it too. Then it doesn't matter if she touches the sand with the club head, what we'll do.
No, measuring, that's fine. Then obviously we'll just leave it that eye afterwards.
Yeah, I'll do that.
So club head, I have to do first.
You can do, yeah, like use putters if you want to, or we can, obviously the marker's going to move, no doubt.
Yeah, I know, but can I just do club length?
No, it has to be club heads.
Heads?
Yeah.
Where's that?
You can use a putter head.
Where's that?
JP, you should get to use a club length and measure them to the side first, or club heads.
What does that matter? You just use the same as going back.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, you can use a club length.
Club length.
Yeah, that's fine.
And I can place it on the ground.
Yeah, in measuring, that's fine.
I suppose the problem would have been if it was only a club head. It could be a little off-putting, can't you, seeing a marker so close when you're trying to play a bunker shot.
Definitely.
Thanks.
And the chances of that marker still being there is the whole issue.
Still the hole-in-one prize up for grabs here. I had a hole-in-one this week at the fourth from Jessica Carson. Well, what to do to avoid a first drop shot of the day for Suzann.
You're watching you, Ray. Looks like Sam.
In the backside on camera. You happy enough with that?
Yeah, we've got the line of that. So.
Being watched like a hawk.
And just replace it on that spot.
It's gonna move. Happy with that? Yeah.
Carly Booth with approach to 13. Yeah, she was fighting to keep her card at the end of last season. Played pretty well in Dubai, actually, to make sure that she still had her full playing rights. Player, of course, who I suppose, like Annabel Dimmock, very good amateur, much expected. When she got those breakthrough wins in 2012, you thought, here we go, but it hasn't been the case for Carly.
So there's a bit of a tough shot for Annabel Dimmock. Up onto a raised putting green, the green rolling away from her, so probably needs to land this short, bump it up even. It was a tough shot. I mentioned Carly Booth. You know, she ended up really needing that 2-year exemption that you get after a win, and she would have come pretty close to losing her card within that exemption had she not had it. So advantageous, but nice to see her playing well.
Struggles for all three players in this final group, and well, I thought the bogey on the last was one too many for Lydia. You can understand her frustration after this one.
10 is playing the third hardest hole on the golf course, so with 11 up ahead, which is the second hardest, it's certainly a stretch you'd walk away with 2 pars quite happy from.
It'd be nice for the ladies mixing with the men this week. Nora saying she was in an Olympic training camp with Mikko Ilinen last year, so one of the players she knew when they head to the dining area.
The player on the left of screen there, Krista Backer, is also pretty keen to get on that finish side for 2020 as Flick Johnson rolls one in. So a nice little birdie there, picking up a shot and a half on the field on 11.
Yeah, that takes her to 3 under par, which is where Carly Booth would like to go with this chance at 13. For par for Dimmock. So first bogey of her final round. And for the time being, the lead is 2 shots for Suzann Pettersen, although a bit of work for her still to do. Hasn't hit it. Tied for second now, Klara Spilkova.
Par save, a big moment, and another one slides by Lydia Hall.
Yeah, seems a while ago now, wasn't it? It was this hole that cost her a double bogey yesterday. She had a 4-shot lead through 5 holes of round 3. Been a slippery slope pretty much since then, hasn't it?
She's one of the few players on tour that is actually a qualified teacher as well, Lydia. We'll get back to that in a moment. Tamminen for par.
Big putt coming up on the 10th green. We feel Pettersen pops this in. It's a 2-shot advantage. Maybe brings 1 or 2 players here on that 3 under par mark in with a sniff still. Pettersen going back to 7 under.
So at best, it's going to be 3 consecutive bogeys for Lydia Hall and make that 2 bogeys and a double.
Again on
Ouch.
this hole. Should be pleased she's seen the back of the 10th. Cost her a few shots, hasn't it? Can he put that down to a lack of concentration? Here's 11.
Playing 4.37 this week. This hole is tough. It's been moved up a little bit from last year, so a little bit shorter, but that water on the right still in play. 245 to get into that. So the right half of the fairway is ideal. Pins pretty much all on the right-hand side of this very shallow green this week. And trying to get the ball to hit the front and bounce up towards it is the ideal play. It's pretty firm, and anything around the edges will roll off. So below the hole is certainly the place to be. That bunker guarding the front left, and the front section just short of this green, a very popular place today. Pin position is 10 on and 5 from the right.
Well, I suppose even though it was her first drop shot of the day, no damage done as far as sole leadership's concerned for Suzann Pettersen. Not been her favourite hole of the week. Well, Georgia Hall might be too far back to actually win the event, but she's still picking up birdies. Another has come at the par 5 14th, and you can see she's moved into a tie for 4th position. Those at 3 under, I suppose Hall running out of holes, but still with an outside chance. Dimmock and Spilkova just one adrift of Suzann Pettersen, our leader, on the back nine. Jenny Haglund putting a good effort together, isn't she? 6 birdies in the round for the Swede who finished second on the Access Series Tour, the second tier of the Ladies European Tour last season. One of the rookies in the field going very nicely. The defending champion putting up a decent defence, isn't she? Nuria Iturrios followed that bogey we saw at 13 with a birdie at 14. Lampert playing alongside Spilkova. Just 4 off the lead now. Carolyn. Oh. Right at it.
You can hear just how much the greens are firming up as well. They're running about 10-3 on the stimp meter earlier this week, up to 11 today. So they are quickening up. Flick Johnson not able to convert. Spilkova into the dog leg 13th.
Oh, tremendous. What sort of score do you think she needs to post?
Well, that will be a putt to get to 7 under par. I would think that one of the chasing pack will have to get to at least 8 or 9 to have any kind of chance, because you know what happens with Pettersen when she sees a name on the leaderboard. She loves to chase people down, and she can have, you know, the ability to rise to the occasion.
I also say she's at the most dangerous when she's just dropped a shot, but she just dropped her first shot of the day.
Dangerous on the scorecard or to the caddy, not sure. Dave looks like he's still got all his limbs though, so perhaps just one of the best in the game. Bounce back birdies, as you mentioned.
Yeah, more than decent from Taman in there as well.
Only 4 paces of green behind this whole location today. Needs it to fade back. And that might catch the slope. Almost, well, you could say she's lucky to only be a yard off the back there. If that was on the green, it would have gone another, say, 10 to 15 feet down to the left, as we saw Lampert do just 20-odd minutes ago.
So a chance for her closest pursuers to put some pressure on. Remember, Klara Spilkova has a birdie putt to come at 13. It's a pretty good angle, this, isn't it, for Annabel to maybe try and get to this flag.
The only downside is just being that first cut of rough.
Especially after what happened at the last hole. I wonder if she's enjoying this now, though, you know? If the nerves are gone and she's just in that zone. Wasn't the best. Not a good connection. And just sitting up against the collar of rough, also just going to make that chip shot awkward.
On the back of 13. Right to left down the slope for Lampert. It's tracking. Oh, it was a great putt. So she'll remain at 2 under par for her round. 4 shots back off the lead.
You see the ball awkward below her feet here for Lydia Holt. What a shot that is.
She's certainly making hard work of it off the tee, but that was a great recovery.
And you can say neither Pettersen or Dimmock in prime position at this 11th hole. Obviously, I'd much rather be where Suzann is. She's got quite a bit of fringe to work with. So this for Spilkova to get into the lead. Well done. Tied for the lead for the first time since day one, when she posted a round of 69 Thursday morning. Now it's Sunday afternoon. That's when you want to be at the top. 5 birdies, no bogeys, and the Czech player joins Pettersen at the top. Well, she had an awkward up and down. She couldn't make it the last. Come back to Annabel in a moment. To the 14th, par 5. Another birdie opportunity coming up if she gets a good drive away here.
It's very reachable. Sharp dogleg round to the right. If they like it off the tee, that's a good sign, because that's the hardest shot to play on this entire hole.
I wonder if she knows where she is in terms of if she knows she's top of the leaderboard or not. Of course, there's some players that, even if there are leaderboards, don't look at them. Shan Feng, of course, maybe most famously in the ladies' game. So how will she handle this one?
There's about 12 different ways you could play it. You could blade it, you could use a hybrid. But it seems as though she can get enough club through the ball. Yeah, not too many leaves standing up behind it. So just almost play it like a regular chip shot as much as you can. Needs to land it over the tier, let it roll out towards the pin. That came out really hot. And we've seen some inconsistency with the ball striking very close to the green with the chipping of the players this week, and it is a different strain of grass that's affecting that. It's annual meadow grass, and it's got a seed that's at the top of it. So if that gets between your club face and the ball, it does absolutely launch forward. But on the other side of the coin, if you come in with a sharp leading edge and it does dig into this grass, so margin of error all that much smaller here this week.
Well, her pace putting's been very good for much of this week. Test to hit. That's probably the worst putt she's hit all week.
That just shot straight off the club face. You could tell as soon as she hit it, Suzann Pettersen knew that was in the wrong postcode. So all of a sudden, Suzann Pettersen has about 7 or 8 feet left to stay in the lead. Could be a real turning point coming up for the final round. In the penultimate group, Flick Johnson, her second, into the 13th. Checking out, so there is a little bit of daylight between the 9:30 and 9:40 group out there on the golf course at the moment, about a hole and a half. Dare say that rules officials will be keeping an eye on this final group at the moment.
Well, troubles for this final group. And certainly these, the top two heading into the back 9 at 10 and now at 11. Work to do for Dimmock to stay at 6 under. What a big putt that is. What a save. There'll be plenty of relief after that one's gone in.
Not too many smiles on Annabel's face either at the moment. She's fighting hard for it.
And game face.
I think she needs to enjoy those moments a little bit more. There's one thing to have a game face, but at the same time, you also do need to give yourself a bit of a break every now and then when you do something good. So at least a little fist pump there.
And it puts the pressure on Suzann. This to stay in the lead alongside Klara Spilkova at 7 under.
She's going to know exactly what Klara's done as well. There is a leaderboard over the back of 11. So if she is a leaderboard looker, she'll see the state of play. Big putt coming up.
Oh, that's 2 excellent saves from Dimmock and Pettersen, isn't it? Well, very much looks like it's between those 3. Dimmock, Pettersen and Spilkova.
Lydia Hall perhaps wishing she could switch rounds with Georgia Hall, currently 5 under par for the day. Lydia 4 over. But that could change right now. Two doubles, 2 bogeys, really unravelling the Welshwoman's round today.
Well, still managing a smile, but in a tie for 8th position now, Lydia Hall. But a big change at the very top of the leaderboard. Klara Spilkova with 5 unanswered birdies, making a final day charge alongside Pettersen, who, like Annabel Dimmock, made a great pass save at 11. Dimmock just one back. There is Georgia Hall, coming close to the end of her final round, posting another top 10, it seems. And the defending champion inside the top 10, Nuria Iturios, at 1 under par. She's got 3 to play.
.167 to the pin in a very attackable location on 12 here. Certainly took a lot of turf there with the divot.
Birdie putt for Johnson at 13. So can Annabel Dimmock apply a little more pressure? I think that one fooled our cameraman.
Swing and a miss. We won't charge her for that one, though. That can be a freebie, Annabel. Let's try that again.
Certainly seen a more aggressive line. Excellent shot.
This is where I think Annabel really just needs to go back to basics. Try and hit fairways, try and hit greens, and just keep giving herself chances, because putting can go hot or cold on this golf course, as we've seen.
Yeah, but it's a very new experience for her. I don't think she's been in this position ever before on the Ladies European Tour. Best of 5th position when she was up there in Abu Dhabi, heading into the final round, but never really threatening quite like this. Spilkova deciding to lay up with her second at 14.
She's not the longest off the tee, Klara, so presumably with the dog leg out of reach for her. And what a round from Georgia Hall. Started the day at 2 over par total. Now at 3 under. Bit of a lackluster effort there, coming up short, not getting the rollout that she'd probably expect, but still putting together a great round. So let's take a look at the 12th hole. It's the first par 3 on the back 9, playing 167 yards. So a lot of players coming up just short on that front edge. The bunker left, not so much in play unless you really pull it off the tee. Pin 12 paces on, right in the centre of the green today, begging to be attacked. Let's see if our final group can do that. This, the aerial view. Just a hair under its average today, 2.98.
Really is a gorgeous afternoon, isn't it? Temperatures in the mid-20s. A slight breeze, but as we've seen from the likes of Spilkova, good scoring conditions if you're on your game. It is a tricky little layout, this. I think we're in for a bit of fun, aren't we, over these closing half a dozen holes?
I'm certainly creeping towards the edge of my chair as we see Lydia Hall.
And she's probably feeling a little bit like the spare part in this final group now, isn't she?
There is a moment in final rounds like this where you do sometimes think about not trying to put off your playing partners, you know, and just kind of giving the stage to them a little bit, because realistically for Lyd, you know, she's 6 shots back. There's a lot of players between her and the lead now, so
it's actually going to be Suzann to play first here. And this seems a pretty straightforward one for her.
I'd be surprised if Suzann wasn't thinking about holing this. She's very aggressive with her chips.
Superbly played.
It was interesting talking to Suzann about her, she's a potpourri or flower pot of a golf bag at the moment. The other day when we were chatting to her.
She's got about 5 different makes in the bag, hasn't she?
She's got PXG wedges, Honma irons, I believe that's a TaylorMade putter. She's got a Callaway driving iron and driver.
It's a TaylorMade Rescue Club.
Was it? I couldn't quite remember the fairway rescues. I ran out of room on my page to write it down quickly. Given she's been with Nike since 2008, so changes for her.
Oh, she's relishing it, isn't she? Klara Spilkova, another quality shot into the 14th. Another birdie opportunity coming up. That one left for the outright lead.
And there's no leaderboard for her to look at, I believe, until at least 15 or 16. So I'm going to go out on a limb and say that Klara's not that aware of how she's sitting in the event right now.
I'll tell you what, there'll be a few players wanting to take up boxing after that's what she was doing in the build-up to this event. She doesn't look like she'd have a big right hook on her, but I still wouldn't want to be behind it.
I'm sure she's got a little bit of check fire in it. From the back of the green, Lydia Hall, this should roll out. But not quite getting contact on it.
But in all seriousness, she said that she did the boxing, one for fitness, one for the mental state that the game brings as well, and the mental attitude, and obviously that's going to be vital for her now in these closing holes.
Big left to right slope here for Georgia Hall. Oh, birdie number 7 of her round, 6 under par for the day. Talk about a final round charge. You think she wants those Solheim Cup points, don't you?
Yeah. Threatened to turn back, didn't it?
She missed a few short putts when she was featuring in the last 2 rounds in Qatar, and I'm really happy to see that she's worked on that, because with the toe of the putter up means that the arc of the putter travels inside and then back around to the inside through impact, and it does put a little bit of spin on the ball sometimes. So obviously an area that she's been really logging some hours in over the off weeks. To stop the bleeding here. Mid hole to stay in red figures. She did change her putting grip earlier this week, and it was working so far for the first 2.5 rounds, but hasn't been making too many for birdie, at least. Certainly fighting, trying to keep those bogeys off the card.
Well, start of the day in contention, 3rd position. She's just moved into a tie for 12th. Very expensive final day it's proving to be for Lydia Hall. Well, it's not just the Klara Spilkova show in this group, but there's no doubt she is the focus of attention. Lampert, though, with a chance to get to 4 under. No, never looked as if she'd hit that hard enough.
rules officials, you can see following that last group, they are a ways behind the group of McDonald, Johnson and Backer.
Yeah, they are under the clock and under pressure to make par. Makes it Lampert. Yeah, apparently Suzann Pettersen teed off before her playing partners were actually even at the tee. So obviously they're aware that if they don't get a move on, there might be some consequences.
And good luck to our cameramen trying to get in position if Suzann Pettersen's running to the tee.
Now, big moment you feel in this final round of the Lalla Meryem Cup. Klara Spilkova looking for her Ladies European Tour breakthrough. Started the day 4 shots behind the tournament leader Suzann Pettersen. She has this for the outright lead. Well done, brilliant. Well, when she double bogeyed 18 yesterday, you kind of felt her chances were, well, disappearing fast, but what a final round she's putting together. It's almost Nuria Iturius-like, isn't it? 6 under for the day. Iturius, just to remind you, 4 shots better than anybody else in that final round last year to win this event. And what a turn-up. Suzann Pettersen no longer leading. It's Klara Spilkova, long admired as a talent. 7th season now on the Ladies European Tour, who's taken the lead here at Royal Golf Dar Essalam. And she came back in 39 yesterday, Klara Spilkova.
It certainly is the harder of the 2 nines. Not that you could tell from the scorecards of a few players out on the golf course at the moment. Marta Sands Barrio came home with a 32 to shoot 4 under 68.
Yeah, that was matched by Nana Madsen as well. Madsen with around a 69.
Georgia Hall also on track potentially for a 32 should she birdie the last. 6 under par for her round, so she's matching Spilkova shot for shot right now, but coming from a very different part of the leaderboard early on today.
Quite some story developing. Who's following Nuria Iturius to be engraved on that Lalla Meryem Cup trophy? Suzann Pettersen starting the day the red hot favourite, but she's not in front right now. It's Klara Spilkova, thanks to a 6th birdie today at the 14th, leading at -8. Agat Suzann, one of the rookies in the field, going very well in the final round, but it's to the 15th tee we go with the tournament leader. .142 yards it's playing. Not threatening the flag this time.
Well, we couldn't really provide you with the tee shots off the tee grounds with the pace of play. Girls practically ran off after teeing away. So all 3 in pretty good shape here on the right-hand side. Suzann just skipping into that first cut of rough. But it's going to be Annabel Dimmock to play. Pin over on the back left section of the green. Wouldn't have more than a wedge in hand. Wants it to go. Check up, right on cue. Annabel Dimmock So she's applying some pressure here on the 13th.
Well, it's great to see these young Ladies European Tour players producing such good golf under such fun around pressure. Yeah, that doesn't look too kind of lie, does it, for Suzann?
Seems as though that ball's almost underground. But the one thing she does have going for is it's quite a bit of green to work with. 13 paces from the front, this whole location. Can't really afford to go over this green, however. It's a tricky shot from back there.
That's very well played.
Annabel Dimmock's also going to get a pretty handy little read off Suzann Pettersen's putt as well.
Not seen too much of Felicity Johnson today. 2 birdies, 2 bogeys. At the hole where Spilkova just made her birdie 4. Playing alongside the tournament leader, Nora Tamminen.
She made a hole at the Ladies European Masters last year. Walked away with a pretty nice little watch. Belen Motho was very disappointed. Another chance. When Motho walked up to the green, she thought that she'd won the prize. She was unlucky to have the second hole-in-one on the same day. She was rudely awakened by the rules officials telling her she had no prize at all.
Well, what a day it's been for Klara Spilkova. 6 birdies on the card. That's why she's leading. 3 on the front 9 at 5, 6 and 8. And she got things going quickly on the back 9 as well. This at 10.
Just rolling out so nicely. Really well judged with the club. And was certainly rewarded when she walked up to this putt. So birdie number 4 of the day, right at the turn. On one of the hardest holes on the golf course, that's when you know you're playing well. So pars on 11 and 12. This, her approach into the par for 13. The short dog leg and taking advantage of the opportunity. Would another birdie be on the card? The answer is yes. So birdie number 5, bogey free to this point.
And with Pettersen dropping a shot at 10, suddenly she was in a share of the lead. Came to the par 5 14th, laid up in 2. Delightful little wedge shot and a chance for the outright lead. Only chance she would take to lead the way at 8 under par. And here she is at the par 3 15th. Needs to keep going. No, it's done pretty well, hasn't it?
Certainly a pretty handy little tap in from long range. She has a friend, Katerina, on the bag this week. She's been there to give her a hug whenever she's needed. Certainly hasn't needed too many inspirational cuddles out there today, the way she's playing.
Yeah, she's had Susanna Kamasova, who won this tournament. She's had her caddy for her once or twice as well. I don't know if Susanna gave us some tips on how to win the Lalla Meryem Cup, but 8 under par. I mean, she could do with one more birdie, couldn't she? I mean, she's got 17 to come, obviously.
Well, all the holes that she's birdied, 13 and 14, are still to come for Suzann Pettersen, so that's something to keep on the radar.
Final hole of the day of what's been an excellent day for Georgia Hall. And you never know, these Solheim Cup points that she's picking up today come the end of qualification after the Women's British Open at Kings Barnes, they could be absolutely vital.
Completely, you know, and we talk about Solheim Cup, but with Georgia, it's genuinely not trying to hype her up. She's a great player. She deserves to be at the top of the Solheim Cup points list, and that's the reason why I genuinely believe she will automatically qualify for Des Moines later on this year. So she's certainly a player to watch. She'll be bouncing into Spain next week after a round today.
To join Spilkova back at the top of the leaderboard for Pettersen. Oh, agonisingly close, wasn't it? Those back-to-back birdies at 6 and 7. Any birdies so far today for the Norwegian. Recently turned 36, Suzann. Never been #1 in the world, been #2 quite a few times. Never been the strongest part of Johnson's game, the putting. Tita Green, she's up there with anyone on the Ladies European Tour. Well, she got a brilliant read, didn't she, from Pettersen? And just to join her at 7 under. Fantastic. 4th birdie of this final round from Annabel Dimmock. One shot separating the top 3.
Really makeable birdie chance here. Noora Tamanen, just a hair right to left, back up the hill. No trouble there for the Finn. So she gets back to 1 under par for her round.
Yeah, her best week of last season came at this golf course, and it looks like she's going to have another really good finish. Now this to put the gloss on what's been an excellent round for Georgia Hall. Not to be, but well, it's going to not dead yet, actually. I was going to say it's going to be the round of the week, though, a 66, but we'll see her make it first.
I was going to say, Richard, I want to play match play against you if that's a gimme. Let's take a look at the 14th hole. It's a par 5, a massive dogleg round to the right. You can see, need to keep it short of those 2 bunkers. They're new. They weren't there last year. And then the steep, sharp turnaround to the green. If you're going to lay up, you need to leave it about 70 yards from the front. And the green is well guarded by a couple of bunkers. They've been slightly reshaped over the years, but nothing too drastic by comparison to some of the new additions on the golf course. Pin today in the back right corner. Everything slopes from that back left to front right section. Really nice balance there on that golf swing from Annabel.
Such a confident swing, wasn't it?
She's an aggressive player by nature, and you know, I have to think, I didn't actually see her swing a club before her back injury at the Youth Olympics in 2014. That was when it all came tumbling down for her. And she struggled with that in her rookie year as a pro as well. But it's nice to see her seemingly injury-free at the moment and swinging it smoothly.
Needs to start finding fairways, Pettersen. Comfortably can get home in 2 here.
Really ran it through the fairway yesterday on this hole. And just a little bit too far, but that's no troubles there for Suzann. And she's on the left side of the fairway, so she might actually even have a chance to go for this in 2, depending on her yardage.
Well, we're all set for an exciting finale, aren't we, on the blue course at Royal Golf Dar Essalam in the capital city of Morocco in Rabat. Klara Spilkova of the Czech Republic leading the way, but it's the young English player Annabel Dimmock and the Solheim Cup star Suzann Pettersen just a shot behind. Georgia Hall has popped in that par putt, round of the week, a 66. That'll keep her top of the Solheim Cup points list. Carly Booth heading for a top 10 right now. That birdie from Tamminen getting it to 2 under. Great finish from Marta Sanz Barrio. 4 birdies in the final 6 holes for her round of 68. 69 from rookie Jenny Haglund. The Swede coming off a very good season on the Access Tour. And certainly more rounds in the 60s today. Look at that, Bravo and Madsen with 69s. Madsen with a terrific back 9. Struggles today for Camilla Leonard and Gemma Dryber. Seeing them slip back to 2 over par now. Much better day to former champion Gladys Nacera, 2015 winner. And she's won this tournament a couple of times, once when it was in the LET. 70 for her. Megan McLaren, who played such a starring role in the Curtis Cup last season for GB&I. Solid week for her. And Van Dam, ups and downs. Oh, her finish pretty much sums it up. Eagle at 17, double bogey at 18. Ma Adwi started really well, round of 70 on day 1. Hopes of maybe a Moroccan challenge, but just has to settle for a place in the top 30 after a round of 73, leaves her at +5. Week to forget for Emily Pedersen. Normally such a consistent player. And the Chinese amateur Wenbo Liu. Sarah Schober, who won the Order of Merit on the Access Series last season. 7 over par in total. Well, here's the very top of the leaderboard where Klara Spilkova leads by 1. And here she is, safely down the middle of the 16 fairway, Addison.
Well, she's already overtaken the hard task of hitting that fairway, and it is the hardest hole on the golf course as of this morning. Very wide and shallow green. The pin position maybe an inch away from where it was yesterday. We'll get back to that in a moment as they're waiting on the green. Over to you, Annabel Dimmock. That birdie on 13. So needed to apply the pressure. Just trying to pick a good number to lay up to. Ideally,
not finishing much left of that, just a tiny bit left.
Ideally up the left-hand side to open up an angle to the green. Now those stats down on the ground on the left, I should say, left side of screen. Not entirely picturing what's happening off the tee, because a lot of players are using 3 woods this week on the driving holes.
So,
didn't seem to like it, but it's turned out okay. As I was mentioning, Suzann Pettersen, 270 averaging off the tee, but she's one of the only players that's taking driver on the 2 holes that are being measured, which is the dogleg left 6th on the front 9.
Well, no layup here for Suzann. Ball very much below her feet here. Aggressive play. And it hasn't paid off.
She had about 212 yards to the front of the green, so out of a bad lie with the carries on the bunker, I'm not sure if she was trying to land it on the putting surface or not, but I'm pretty sure that that wasn't the plan.
Don't show Suzann this one afterwards, but we'll have another look now.
It did catch the top lip of that bunker there as well. Not the prettiest, but might still be effective.
Yeah, it didn't look like it was a great lie, though, in that left-hand rough. No doubt Annabel Dimmock in a good layup area, a very similar position to where we saw Spilkova make her up and down for birdie. Lydia Hall went through the back of this green yesterday.
She does carry a driving iron in bag. And this one's leaking right. Those overhanging trees, not a problem. And pin high, almost in 2 for Hall. So after what's been a pretty miserable day, she'll have a chance to get the last bogey in about 7 holes now. It's been a while coming, and there's been a bogey, double bogey and bogey in the interim.
No longer the leading Hall after George's efforts. So to the group that involves our tournament leader, Klara Spilkova. This, of course, Nora Tamanen. Only missed 2 cuts last season, Tamanen. She's already missed the first 2 of 2017. But not surprisingly, really, here, it's all about Klara Spilkova. And she couldn't have hit a much better tee shot, Addison.
Absolutely splitting the middle. And anything over on that left side is ideal with the pin on the front right, opening the angle up. Strike looked pretty good.
Nearly pitched in the hole. My goodness. She is really on fire right now. Well, 65 in the final round, won it last year. She's 6 under for the day. One more birdie would take her on course for that 65. Look at this. Inches away from going straight in.
I dare say she might even almost have to repair the hole. We'll find out.
Yeah, Suzann doesn't look totally at comfort with the way the ball's lying.
She had a bad lie on 13, and now it seems as though it's going to be 2 in a row here on 14. Quite a bit of green between Suzann and the pin. Today it's located 19 paces on, so she's got around about 14 over the top of that bunker to the hole location. Well, it was a good shot, but just not quite getting the check needed out of that dodgy lie in the rough.
Yeah, talking of check, Spilkova, of course, has got a chance to get to 9 under. Suzann right now at 7. Annabel Dimmock with the potential chance to knock one in tight here.
She's been reasonably solid with her wedges so far this week, Dimmock. Not so much with the longer to mid-iron, struggling a little bit with her distance control, but it's an area of her game she's obviously pretty comfortable with. This straightest putt would be just short left of this pin. And surprising stats there from Annabel because she is quite a long player, so not taking advantage of the par 5s so far this week.
Yeah, look at that scoring on the par 3s there. That's incredible. I would assume is the best in the field. Well, every shot really matters now, doesn't it?
Well, the lead players really are turning it on down the stretch. That one also nearly pitching in the hole there for Annabel Dimmock. Let's see how close it got. Call it maybe inside a foot, but getting the all-important spin there. So it's going to be a downhill putt left, slightly left to right for Annabel.
You wouldn't want to call a winner right now, would you, Dimmock, with a chance to get to 8 under, which would potentially take her alongside Spilkova, but of course Spilkova has a chance of her own coming up at 16. Pettersen not really in birdie territory at that par 5 14th. Here is Klara eyeing up what she's got to do at 16, and obviously Caroline Lampert about to putt first on that green.
It's an interesting putt this, where the hole is most of that slope behind Carolina's left to right. There's 2 or 3 competing slopes between her and the hole right now. Will go right.
Drop shot for Lampert in the bunker off the tee. Tamanen's missed her birdie chance, but can she make it 7 birdies for this final round? Spilkova edge closer to that breakthrough win.
Well, Lampert's broke from left to right, and Klara, just a few paces over, broke from right to left. So it's the area of the green I was referring to, but opportunity missed.
She's been on tour since she was 16. She has been the youngest ever member of the Ladies European Tour. There is a 16-year-old who's started her campaign this week from Norway, actually. Magdalena Stagflat. Eagle putt for Lydia Hall.
Up over the ridge, down left to the hole now. I dare say it's one of the shortest birdie putts she's had today. This up over the edge, down the hill to the right for Suzann. Her share of the lead.
Clicking her fingers for it to stop, because that's no tapping, is it? It's turning into a really frustrating spell. You know, she had those back-to-back birdies at 6 and 7. We thought, here we go. Catch her if you can. They have.
How important is this putt for Annabel Dimmock?
Yeah. I like that. I think you're bang on.
I think she said right lip.
Stroke on the right edge.
Are you in agreement there, Alison?
Well, we saw how much Suzann's just moved from left to right around the hole. So I hope I'm proved wrong.
This to join Klara Spilkova at the top of the leaderboard for Annabel Dimmock. Just stayed there, didn't it?
Self-confessed, didn't see the break. You know, we talk about there's two different types of errors on each shot. There's a planning error and an execution error. She executed that shot beautifully for what she was planning to do. So that's something to hang on to. Wasn't a bad putt.
Just the par for Suzann.
Yeah, should be. It's too fast.
An older but hole of the day, unless of course there is a playoff for Klara Spilkova. Yesterday she finished birdie double bogey. She'll want a better finish than that today. Just looking at, I think, the camera that was clicking there.
Can you just stop? Thank you.
I have to say that was almost right on impact there for Klara, and she is one of the gentlest souls, so for her to actually speak up, it's obviously been a reoccurring problem.
Well, that comes with being tournament leader, I suppose. Not something she's used to doing over the last few holes. Never finished better than fourth. Klara Spilkova. Dimmock's tapped in.
From the left side on 16. She had a decent angle, but did well to check that up on the green. Flick Johnson really steadied the ship after the bogeys on 4 and 6. Picked up a shot on the 11th and pars since then.
When it's a golf feast in Rabat in Morocco today, of course, we're looking for the winner here of the Lalla Meryem Cup, the champion of the Trophy Hassan Dur later today. And here's the par 315, which the players are heading to now in our final group.
142 yards, well guarded at the front, and this green runs from front to back. So with the pin over on the left-hand side today, just 12 paces on, and it's pretty attackable. Front bunker, not a bad place to be. The green is certainly much nicer. Ideal line would be on the left side of the TV tower. And this needs to draw, and it's hanging out to the right for Dimmock.
Okay, that's okay. Given the fact that these greens aren't particularly big, anything hole high, and you still have a good look for birdie.
Anything on the green. You're used to seeing the lead group, you know, up at least over the 70%, maybe even 75% mark in greens in regulation, and it really hasn't been the case this week. Spilkova, only 50% of greens in regulation going into the final round. Obviously, a bit of a different story for her out there today. That's still a telling tale. Started left.
Oh my goodness. I think that tree's between her and the flag, is it? I mean, there's a, she might be able to just sneak past it, but that was probably her worst shot of the day. Suzann Pettersen, you have to say right now, no longer the red-hot favourite she was at the very start of this final round. It's Klara Spilkova. Not quite on the fairway at 17, leading by 1 from Pettersen, and of course, Annabel Dimmock. That's 66 from Georgia Hall. Best round of the week so far. Good enough for her to be inside that top 5. The defending champion closing with a round of 70. Nuria Iturrios in that top 10 at 1 under par. We'll talk about tree in the way of the green. And that's what faces Klara Spilkova. Not a straightforward layup, is it, Alison?
No, but the tee has been moved up, so 478 yards total on 17 today. So even if Klara was just to punch it down even 80 yards, green in regulation wouldn't be out of the question.
Thick contact with those branches. Just over that bunker. So she's still probably got something like 200 yards plus to go to the green. So a long way still in for Spilkova. Had a few of those this week, Felicity Johnson.
When she picked up her last win, you know, 6 odd years ago, she said, the one thing that I did this week was I putted well. That was the only thing that kept my rounds together. Obviously not the case out there this week.
It is a clear view for Suzann.
That's the only fucking mistake you can do, though.
Again, apologies for Suzann's colourful language. It's fair to say she just played 2 rotten shots at this hole.
Certainly a question of potentially leaving the worst to last. And we might end up having a first-time winner on tour this week if she doesn't right her wrongs quickly.
Well, with Spilkova in a spot above already, I have to say, at 17, with Pettersen's problems at 15. Annabel Dimmock could emerge soon as a potential leader in this final round. She won't be aware of what Spilkova is faring right now. When you think yesterday she went triple bogey 8 at 6, followed by double bogey 7, double bogey 6 at 7. You thought that was it. Just, you know, try and finish as high up as you can. And, well, now everything is possible.
I've been really impressed with the way that Annabel has kept herself in there. Obviously, ball striking being a factor, giving herself plenty of chances at birdie, not making that many big mistakes since then, I think has been a real part of her success in the last 25 holes. Across the green. Little left to right.
That's it.
Giving herself a bit of hard work now at this hole. Pettersen for par. Well, she had a chance, of course, in the first major of the year a couple of weeks ago. Suzann Pettersen, she missed a 5-footer that would have got her in the playoffs. She actually said she wasn't really mentally ready for that putt, which is a big surprise when you think how experienced she is. Now, still 200 yards odd left to the green here for Spilkova.
You'd have to think that she's going to be aiming out to the left of those front bunkers. I wouldn't think that she'd have the club head speed to carry that front right bunker and land it on the green and stop it. So ideal would be left half of the green or even front left section of it. And that has started right. It's going right. Oh, will it settle down? The answer is no. So pin high in 3 for our leader, and we'll need some pretty fancy chipping work.
Which makes this a huge putt for Annabel Dimmock. Well done. 7 under par. Made hard work of it after that first putt, but she has a chance of a breakthrough win here in Morocco. Pettersen's going to do bogey at best.
This might be fast becoming a bit of a 2-horse race, and I normally wouldn't say that about Suzann Pettersen, but she's got the monster 16th coming up next, which is the hardest hole on the golf course, averaging nearly half a shot over its average. This needs to drop.
2 back now, 3 to play.
Tamanent from a little closer, regulation layup. Pretty decent. 1 under par for her round today. Not really making the charge of her playing partner, Spilkova.
Sure, she's enjoying the Moroccan sunshine nonetheless. She told me that it was snowing earlier this week in Finland.
Playing for a fade, Lampert. And just leaving it out to the left.
Big tee shot. Well, every shot, I suppose, is going to be big now. Uphill par 4, severe dogleg to the right. There's 3 new bunkers down the right-hand side that she needs to try and avoid.
That's never going.
I think it popped out of the bunker.
That could prove to be the best piece of luck that Annabel Dimmock's got all day. If she's in the bunker, I really don't think she'll be able to get all the way to the green because it's 140 to the front at best from the closest of those bunkers. So we'll wait and see as the plot thickens.
Oh, there was a bit of anger behind that one, wasn't there? Terrific drive. As you're mentioning, it's a really tough hole, Alison, but she's birdied the last couple of days.
Well, we mentioned it being a cut above, and let's take a look at the 16th. It's a fun hole, but only to watch from your seats at home. Those 3 new bunkers built on the dogleg. That used to just be really heavy, rough. So it's 246 to carry those, which Pettersen's done the last 2 days in a row. And Dimmock, well, we'll wait and see where she's ended up on the lip of perhaps the closest of those 3 bunkers. But it's back up the hill just a little bit, plays about 4 paces up in elevation to quite a shallow green.
Needs to get up and down here to save par, Spilkova. Someone's very trigger happy, aren't they, on the camera? Didn't put her off this time, though.
I hope that guy's wearing a mouth guard. But interesting to note, there's a big leaderboard right there on 17. So that chip was clutch, knowing exactly where she was in the field.
It was quality, wasn't it? I mean, given the pressure, given the lack of experience in this situation. As I mentioned before, she's been at this now since she was just 16 years of age as a pro on the Ladies European Tour. Great save, wasn't it, at the previous hole from Annabel Dimmock to stay at 7 under par. Suzann Pettersen's bogey taking her back to 6 under, but it's Klara Spilkova who looks like she's going to escape at the par 5 17th with a par. She'll want to avoid what she did yesterday at 18. Right now leading by 1 at -8.
That is the ball of Annabel Dimmock. And the question is what kind of stance she'll have now that she is out of the bunker. Has around about 137 to carry the greenside bunker. So that's really the number in play here. Doesn't look as though she can take her regular stance, so
Well, and because it's just going to go off the way.
perhaps clubbing up a little bit, and that's a smart play. The ball is on a bit of an upslope, so it'll launch high, but also she'll be lacking a little bit of power from this position, not able to get through onto her left side at all. Bear in mind, this is a player that likes to keep her weight on her right side through the swing, so this is doubly hard. Ooh, taking a nasty bounce forward and right.
Yeah, we haven't seen where the ball has actually finished, but
Anything past that whole location is nasty, so it's going to be a supremely difficult up and down from wherever that's ended up.
needs to start making some birdies, Suzann Pettersen. And here's a chance coming up.
All of a sudden, it's starting to look as though if Klara Spilkova can convert and get to 18, through 18, at 8 under par, that might be the number to beat.
Get in.
It is in. Caroline Lampert with a birdie that takes her to 3 under.
It was a huge drive for Lydia Hall, but that's come up short. So it's been a day of missed opportunities for the Welsh woman.
Well, she did double bogey the last yesterday, but she did birdie the 18th on day one in a opening round of 69. Just off the back of a 7 at 17, Carly Booth.
On the 18th tee, Tamminen. ...222 yards to carry the bunker on the left, the one on the right much shorter, but this is headed towards those trees and seemed to scuttle through them a little bit, but perhaps overhanging tree trouble for the Finn.
Well, a massive tee shot coming up for Klara Spilkova here. Ever since she came onto the tour as a young lady, this was the kind of position she'd been dreaming about. You can see the colours of her driver in the Czech flag. Never been a Czech winner on the Ladies European Tour.
Yeah, good shot.
They're saying good shot. Oh, it's a magnificent drive. There's adrenaline for you. Look at that. She couldn't have gone down there and placed that any better.
So let's take a look at the 18th, the finishing hole here on the blue course. Those 3 new bunkers. The one on the right, not so much in play. The one on the left, only with a bit of a pull off the tee. But Klara Spilkova's launched it all the way down the fairway, around about 260 on the bottom right of screen. So the pin on the front right today in a very accessible hole location.
Oh, that drive. More pressure on Dimmock to get up and down here. Steady. Made a really good par save at 16, didn't she? Similar kind of distance.
I'm going to go on a limb and say that this might be plugged for Lyd Hall. And that's very nice from a tough position. Always wanted to dig in the heel on the upslope when the lie is plugged like that. Take as much sand as possible, be aggressive.
Well, they've all played nicely, haven't they, in this group? You know, obviously Klara the pick of the bunch, but Caroline Lampert and Nora Tamanin have played well too. It's a very relaxed atmosphere. Well, she needs some magic, doesn't she, Pettersen? There's been little of it, hasn't there, since making a birdie at 7. Not happening for her. She's never been a prolific putter, has she? And obviously, we see a very different side of her in the Solheim Cup, where she seems to hold so much. But
Lampert from the left rough on 18. Getting the kick forward she needed. But all in all, pretty solid day. 2 under par for her round so far.
so here we go again for Annabel Dimmock. I'm sure her parents are watching in, probably through their fingers right now. Back home in Denham in Buckinghamshire. It's the safe part. Stay within 1. And this all means Klara Spilkova on the 18th fairway right here has a 2-shot lead. What a shot. A putt you feel coming up to win it.
I think that shot there could just be the nail in the coffin. She's made a little over 256,000 euros in her career, and she might be walking up towards a little over 67,000 euros as the winner's check here. Clearly enjoying herself. It's worth another look. Bogey free today under this kind of pressure.
Well, she does have an English coach, Keith Williams, I'm sure, watching this and absolutely delighted. Whatever they've been working on, it's worked well for her. Just being oh so flat for Pettersen. Not really what was expected. Not completely out of it yet. Obviously, Spilkova pops in a putt at 18, gets to 9 under. You feel that will be too much for Dimmock and Suzann. Of course, there have been players with Czech backgrounds. Jessica and Nelly Korda, of course, their dad, Peter, from the Czech Republic. but they are under the banner of America, of course. And Jessica, of course, a former Solheim Cup player, and they're the potential future one, her sister.
We mentioned earlier the potential advantage that Klara has actually had playing the round that she is out of the view of the other two groups behind her, and not having, you know, the big crescendo of the final group having to perform under, you know, massive pressure down the stretch. She's just been able to go along and trot along and shoot lights out.
Well, there's not been a Czech winner on the men's European Tour. There's not been a Czech winner on the ladies' European Tour, but destiny lies in the hands of Klara Spilkova on the 18th green. Well, it's pretty clear now what they have to do in this final group. Pettersen, Dimmock, they need to finish birdie, and hope, of course, that Spilkova doesn't make that birdie on 18. I suppose eagle not necessarily completely out of the question for Suzann here.
It is a reachable par 5 if
In off the right.
the drive finds the fairway. Needs to settle. So it's going to be a tough angle with the pin on the back right, but still doable. That is massive.
Aggressive line, wasn't it, under that tree, but it's paid off for Dimmock. Hope's hanging by a thread right now. Pops this in. Could be a case of checkmate. Don't have to laugh.
Have you been saving that all day, Richard?
I just honestly did just come to my mind. Anyway, huge moment in her career. This for a birdie. This for a round of 65. Keeps Pettersen and Dimmock alive with hope. Would have matched the score of the final round of last year's champion Nuria Iturios if she'd have popped that in. What a performance from Klara Spilkova. History beckons. She'll just have to wait and see whether 8 under par is enough. But what a round of 66.
Bogey-free final round. Man, just launching herself up into the mix early on with that 3 under par front 9.
They're delighted for her, aren't they? Her caddy there, Katarina. Yeah, the huge grin. Yeah, talented family. Brother's a fashion designer. I think that's where she gets most of her outfits from.
I know her brother Lucas actually introduced her to golf. So do you think he's going to be asking for his cut should she walk away with the winner's check?
It's not done yet. So 8 under par, that's the target. I mean, a huge drive from Annabel Dimmock here in the perfect position. In reach at this par 5 as well for Pettersen.
That red square on the fairway is 201 to the front.
Rebecca Hudson there, of course, Ladies European Tour winner herself amongst those two. Congratulate Klara on a wonderful performance, but our attention now turns to the par 5 17th.
Regularly playing 513 yards today. The tee is moved up as it was yesterday, so it's 35 paces shorter, 478. It's a sharp dogleg round to the left, so around about 205 to carry that bunker on the corner up and over the tree is ideal. That's where Dimmock and Pettersen are, the two closest challengers. Those bunkers on the right, they've been moved and built over the past year. Ooh.
That's not a good break.
If that had just missed the bunker, well, it'd be a very different story. Nice to see a couple of the rookies out following this final group. Saw Incy Mehmet out. She had a good round of 70 today, so she's tracked back to watch this final group come up the stretch.
Well, she laid up here yesterday and we were questioning it, but I mean, does she know birdie's enough to get in the playoff? I don't know whether she would. There is a leaderboard, as you can see behind there, but can she get there with this club?
I'm not sure that she's even looking at it. I think this is a layup.
Yeah, it doesn't look any more than a 7-iron, does it, in her hand?
And seems to have pulled it as well. And that is a massive unforced error from Annabel Dimmock.
Well, she's played that hole this way all week. She did birdie it, I think, the first 2 days, but well, that'll make good viewing for Klara, won't it?
That's a score recording area, so just getting the paperwork done. And then it's a case of waiting and seeing. Lydia Hall, iron in hand, but it's got much less loft on hers. So she's going for it in 2, and why wouldn't she at this stage? It's been a rough day. Could use a little momentum change coming down the final 2.
Well, she got on the par 5 14th into. She's found the bunker. Listen, Annabel Dimmock's played fantastic this week. You know, we shouldn't really, I suppose, question too much what she's doing, but she's obviously got a game plan and she's sticking to it. But surely sometimes the situation causes you to actually maybe think a little differently.
Well, she's quite a long player as well, so carrying the ball 200 yards shouldn't be an issue for her. Perhaps just not that comfortable with her fairway woods off the deck this week. And that's why it's turned into a game plan as a layup, but there'll be a question that will be asked presumably after a round, depending on the results.
So they both need to get up and down, or one of them does, to give themselves that birdie chance at 18 to force Klara into more action.
After,
Okay.
You know, we'll do interviews here, but after the finish.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's going to bring your caddy in as well.
What?
It's going to bring the caddy in as well.
Who?
The caddy.
Yeah.
What's her name?
Yeah. Kate.
Kate. Kate.
Yeah.
Katerina,
yeah,
officially.
We'll just wait in here. Maybe if you want to watch the
Well,
final cut, you can.
Okay.
All a new situation, isn't it, for Klara? She's not been in
I'll
this
just wait here.
position before. I mean, it might be actually wise for her to go off to the putting green and just prepare in case there's a playoff. But as I said, it's all new. Our head must be spinning right now. Is that tree in the way?
It's certainly going to be a factor, whether or not it's exactly in line. The lie doesn't look that great either for Annabel. This is not the time you want to be making back-to-back bogeys. She really needs a birdie here.
Just do shoulder to shoulder.
Right. Whatever you're comfortable with.
Yeah, I feel good with that. It's
Yeah.
just trying to move it.
Even if you finish a little short right of the pin, that's fine. You'd rather be there
Yeah.
up the hill, you know.
Yeah.
77 was the yardage she was given.
Off the right.
It was always a layup, Alison.
Oh, always the play. And why would you change your game plan when you pull something out of the hat like that?
That's the video.
Yeah.
I think that's the video. With a photo. Oh, hello.
Thank you. Thank you. That's good. That's better. Thank you.
It's very
Thank you.
good photo, yeah?
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Well, no, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say maybe a little premature.
Kačí, asi budeme muset tady počkat, když se dohraje.
Couldn't agree more. Oh, we're at this again, aren't we?
Could you believe? Twice in one round. Same players, same situation, same rules official.
Yeah, no need to radio through to João Pinto this time. She doesn't actually, I mean, she marks her ball with a tee peg, Suzann.
Yeah.
She was a couple of weeks ago at the A&A Inspiration. Up at 18, Felicity Johnson. Started the day 3 back. She had that to finish 3 back, and what a good week. 4 under par, and leaves her alongside Georgia Hall in the clubhouse. 71 today from Felicity.
This time Hall gets to play out first. Well, should mention, talking to Flick Johnson, she's finished currently in a tie for 4th. The top 3 have to stay for prize presentations, so she might be just one place away from missing that 6 o'clock flight she had booked.
Way back.
Yeah, to where you thought it was.
I think
Assume the marker got moved when Johnson just hit her bunker shot.
That spot, so you're never going to get exactly.
how's my lie going to be the same now?
Because
It just shows sand.
how was it lying beforehand?
I mean, my lie is obviously not like that. I mean, you don't have this part before she hit. That's what I'm saying. Am I right?
Yes, you can recreate it around the same area, the same spot.
You can't break it and then replace my marker. So what's the
we
point then?
recreate it first, and then we put the ball back.
Yeah, but then my marker.
So whatever was around that, we can either move the loose pediment and recreate it to the same spot. Okay. So
we
that
can
wasn't
move
there
that?
before. Yeah, that wasn't there before. So,
So I can move that, yeah?
Yeah, that's fine. We can make the same lie. So if the ball was resting a quarter of an inch from the ground, we put it back in the same spot.
That's fair enough, but obviously with her showing sand on top of it and that moving, that's obviously just sand.
You get the same lie as before, yeah.
Okay, I'll just finish it. Okay.
Yeah, they're sitting. Yeah.
Pretty similar, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. Happy with the breaking? No, we're doing more.
Better than mine.
Felicity asking Suzanne's caddy there if he was happy with the raking. She did a good job. I can see what Suzanne was saying there. I felt like they should have maybe raked it and then put the marker down.
I mean, it's just a standard rule. It's how it's done. You know, last time this happened back on the 10th hole, Lydia was sitting second, so apparently David Jones telling Lyd not to quit her day job.
So, if she can get up and down here, Suzanne, it will put her a birdie away at the last from forcing a playoff.
It's very bare.
She was reckoning there wasn't much on there.
I wasn't sure how much sand was there to be too aggressive on
Yeah,
the
maybe because of the punches and that here.
bounce or something.
I know David Jones was paying very close attention when Lyd was raking as how much sand was there. And, you know, she made a smart play there, erring on the short side of the pin, because if it is really bare, that's when you bring back edge into play. With the sand wedge scuttling through as we take another look at it. And Suzanne does have a little bit of a tendency to get steep and cut across the ball, especially from the bunkers. It's going to be Hall to putt first. Little upslope left to right to this whole location today.
Just to remind you, the men's event, the leaders will go out soon after this is completed. And a potential first-time winner on the cards there in Paul Dunn, who's leading going into the final round for the first time since he led going into the final round of the Open Championship at St Andrews.
See you.
And here's another potential first-time winner, Klara Spilkova, still hanging around the recorder's hut. And she'll be watching these birdie putts. And if one of them goes in, she's going to have to sweat watching them to go down 18. Birdie chances coming up for Pettersen and Dimmock to try and get to 7 under.
Wait for the camera.
How much did she learn from Hall's putt?
Get in!
In the nick of time. Very interesting, Klara. Closing her eyes again.
Get in!
That ball wasn't going to disobey, was it?
She only had one eye open for that. Wow, what a moment on 17, and That's why she's a household name in golf. Moments like that, standing right next to the leaderboard as well. She knew what she had to do, and she pulled the trigger.
Clutch putt from Pettersen. The scenario's the same for Annabel Dimmock. Can she match the world number 17? The world number 17. Well, it's been a fantastic effort, hasn't it, from Annabel Dimmock? She's going to have to make eagle. Down 18, obviously a very unlikely scenario.
I'm short all day.
That bogey 16's proved to be very costly for Dimmock and her hopes. But it's still very much a matter of game on heading towards 18.
Thank you.
Christine Wolfe congratulating, well, Klara for at least being in the mix, but I think Klara's starting to realise that perhaps she needs to walk a little closer to see what happens on 18.
Well, I still think she should go off to the putting green, and she'll soon know whether Suzann makes birdie or not, just to get away from everyone, you know. And I can understand why maybe she's caught up in the moment, and as I say, she's not really been here before, but someone needs to tell her maybe just to move away from it all. 3-wood here for Suzann Pettersen. What do you make of this play?
I presume she's going to be trying to head up over the left edge of that right bunker. That's the line with this club. It's around about 220 to carry that bunker on the left. This has to hit the fairway, and she looks happy with it.
So she should. Perfectly down the left side of the fairway as well with that right-hand pin position. Perfect angle to attack.
Same club for Lydia Hall. And that started right. Seems to be hanging out there. So we'll have to wait and see
Down off the left.
what happens for Lydia, but the story really is Suzann Pettersen coming down the 18th hole. It'd be nice to see Annabel Dimmock, this young lady, finish it off with a bit of style. She's currently in outright third place. She's 2 shots clear of that tie for 4th, so she does have a bit of a cushion, but wouldn't a birdie be something special? No troubles from the tee there.
Yeah, she's driven the ball much better today, hasn't she?
I think the crowd said it all. That is massive. That drive, by my calculations, is, well, it's at least 280 off the tee.
So the equation is simple. As the final group head down the 18th, a birdie for Suzann Pettersen, and we'll have a playoff at the 2017 Lalla Meryem Cup. A par, and the title goes to Klara Spilkova. 66 from Georgia Hall, the best round of the week. A little further down there, you can see rookie Jenny Hagland with a 69. Excellent finish to the round from Marta Sanz Barrio of Spain, obviously playing her national championship next week. Just outside of Barcelona, Incy Mehmet, who you mentioned before, Alison. Yeah, excellent final day 70 from another young English player. Kelsey McDonald, unfortunately 10 shots worse off today than her third round efforts. Well, she has made her way to the putting green. And it's important, it's away from the hullabaloo, isn't it? Chance to regather your thoughts.
Well, I think just not having the crowd surrounding you, hyping you, because if she does end up in a playoff, Klara, having all of those people coming and congratulating her and then her going back out on the golf course, I can only imagine what that would do. The mentality and the psyche of staying aggressive.
Well, they found the ball of Lydia Hall. Not the final round she was looking for. But a par would keep her in a share of 8th place.
She's a fierce competitor, Lyd, and I know she was really looking forward to the last 2 days playing alongside Suzann Pettersen. She tees it up against the guys quite often in the Southwest PGA Series. And she did so a couple of weeks ago at the World Par 3 Championship down in Bermuda as well. I wonder how her crowd control skills are, however. She's one of the few players in the field that also has 2 strings to her bow. She is a teaching professional, does a lot of work with women's golf at Hensel Golf Academy back in Bridgend. Ooh, that is a rough lie.
Yeah, probably as good as she could have done, really, finding that bunker. So it'll be Pettersen to play next. A little bit of meditation. That'll get you focused. That'll get the mind calm before what could be a massive playoff should this lady make a birdie here at 18.
Stays like this? It's very hard to get.
No, like the breeze stays like that. That's going to do something. The same as what we had in the yard.
Okay, if this goes down.
I'm going to stop. You just go through your routine. That is the club right now.
Lady Jones, very positive that she has the right club in hand. It's a chance.
We're going to make that make it look on it.
Yeah, hoping for a kick forward, and she got the spin.
Especially a little down breeze. It was interesting listening to the conversation there because Dave Jones was certain it was that club, but said, you get ready and I'll watch the breeze. So giving Suzann complete permission to completely dedicate herself and commit to that shot. Sign of a well-experienced caddy.
Well, Annabel Dimmock's chances are extremely slim, but she's hit a monster drive here. If she can chip it in, she would match Spilkova's mark of 8 under. Well, it didn't pitch too far away from the hole, did it? Great effort from Annabel Dimmock. But it's all down to Pettersen for sure now. Well, there's one person here at the blue course who just doesn't seem focused at all on what's going on around 18.
It was always going to be a tough shot. About 45 yards to the front from there. And Lyd just giving her caddy a bit of a hurry along.
How focused, though, did Klara Spilkova that?
Klara is a character in herself. She's a lovely girl. She is a completely gentle soul, but that doesn't surprise me seeing her doing that and taking a moment, because she's not like everybody else, and in the best kind of way. She's always just completely been Klara ever since she got on the stage here as a 16-year-old. I remember watching her. I actually played with her when she was 17, and we were waiting as players to see her win. We talked about her a lot for the first 3 years of her career amongst those of us on tour, waiting for her to win, and we were surprised that she hadn't already. That was how much talent she had. So to see her in this position, I can't say I'm surprised. That the manner with which she's done so has been absolutely flawless at 66 today.
Full shot now for Lydia Hall here at 18.
If she can salvage a bogey, well, she might just stay inside the top 10, perhaps slip down to 11th. It's certainly been a day to forget for Lydia Hall, currently 4 over par for her Sunday.
Well, just a couple of weeks ago, in the first major of the year, Suzann Pettersen stepped on the 72nd green with a putt to force a playoff. And here she is again. This one a little bit longer than the one at Rancho Mirage at the A&A Inspiration.
Two Chinese rookies watching on from the grandstands. All eyes on this woman.
What are you expecting this putt to do?
Well, it's actually a bit of a tough putt to read, because there's a slope coming off the bunker on the right that will push the ball a little right to left, but the predominant slope on the green is from back left to front right. So it's down to the millimetres. She just needs to be assertive, has to give this a run.
The fact she knocked that putt in from a similar kind of distance at the last green, because she hasn't seen the ball drop in the hole like that for a long time today. That'll give her the confidence she needs probably ahead of this putt. This to force a playoff. she's watching now. Well, surprisingly, it's come up short from Pettersen. And she's come up one short. Klara Spilkova is the Lalla Meryem Cup winner and a Ladies European Tour champion for the very first time.
Good job.
Congratulations there from Anke Lindner,
Thank you.
Caroline Lampert, Christine Wolf. She's going to be a very popular winner on tour. And to be fair, a bogey-free 6-under par final round when you're going up against someone of the calibre of Suzann Pettersen, well, it should be congratulated.
Thanks, but sorry.
Czech golf has its first champion on a major tour. Suzann Pettersen, for the second tournament in a row, comes up one short.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Good job. Thank you.
Big part for Annabel Dimmock, though.
Yeah, this will get her into a share for second place, and the difference between second and third is €13,000. Not to be, but it will be her best ever finish on the Ladies European Tour. Did promise her a little bit more than third spot. I think she can be very proud of her efforts today, can't she, Addison?
She's obviously been working really hard over the off-season. Some really good-looking changes to her golf game, in particular her putting this week. So I can only imagine that there'll be a lot of positives to take home and take into next week. Travelling just south of Barcelona for our next event on the Ladies European Tour.
She's had 2 doubles on the card. It's to avoid another one for Lydia Hall. Oh dear. A round of 78. Led by 4 at one point yesterday. Did the Welsh player. Pity. It's been a disappointing day for Lydia Hall, but much to learn for Annabel Dimmock today. Been leading a golf tournament with a well-recognised player in Suzann Pettersen, albeit they were overtaken in the end by Klara Spilkova's brilliant 66. Around a 70 and third place for Annabel Dimmock. Well played.
She shot the lowest round in the final group, and I think someone of her age, just 20 years old, to go out and do that right next to that player on screen, one of the most intimidating people on tour, I think it's definitely another notch in the belt for Annabel Dimmock.
Norway's finest, beaten by the first Czech champion. What a day for Klara Spilkova. She told me she was nervous coming into the week, but once she got here, she felt so relaxed. Well, she played sparkling golf, didn't she, in that final round 66 And at 8 under par, it was good enough for a one-shot victory over Suzann Pettersen. Annabel Dimmock in third spot, and some more vital Solheim Cup points for the number one player on the list on the Ladies European Tour. Georgia Hall finishing tied for fourth with Felicity Johnson. Well, she had a nervous little wait, but we can hear for the champion, can't we? Klara Spilkova, the Lalla Meryem Cup winner, alongside Edgar Morse.
Same tournament. I have to call her.
Klara, congratulations. What a win that was. 66 on the final day and your first win on the LET. Try and put it into words what emotions you're feeling right now.
Well, I can't believe it. It's just great, and I don't really have emotions now. I'm just really relaxed. I've been really relaxed this week, and I still feel really relaxed. I don't know why, but well, maybe it will come. You know, maybe tomorrow.
Were you aware of what you needed to do? That you were in the lead? That Suzann was behind? Were you aware what was happening?
Yeah, I knew that, and well, I went to putting green and it wasn't really good, so I just do my meditation, and yeah, that helps, you know, to put the emotions a little bit under control.
This is a huge win for Czech golf and Eastern European golf. Of course, Zuzana Kamasova won here as well. Finally, this must feel like a weight off your shoulders.
Yeah, I think I will speak with her tonight because she's really good golfer, and that's what I thought when I was walking in the 18, that she won here, and that I just want to win as well.
Well, you have, and congratulations, and time for some flowers.
Thank you very much. Please.
Yeah, Zuzana Kamasova from Slovakia. As Mustafa Zini, the Vice Chairman of the Hassan Der Trophy Association, hands over the bouquet of flowers. The trophy to come a little later. She'll get that with the winner of the trophy, Hassan Der, whoever that may be. Of course, Paul Dunn starting in pole position, heading into the final round. But right now, it's about Klara Spilkova, a champion. And she really put together an absolutely brilliant display, didn't she, Alison? Because she started this final round 4 shots off the lead.
In a word, today, Klara was absolutely flawless. So why don't we take a look at some of the better moments? Well, all the moments were good today, weren't they? So she made the turn in 33 after birdies on 5, 6 and 8. This was on the 10th.
Yeah, fantastic shot, wasn't it? Getting better all the time. And now she was getting into the region of potential champion. Birdie number 4 of the day. Up to 6 under par. And that was a hole that Suzann Pettersen, who was leading, would bogey. On to 13 after pars at 11 and 12.
Attacking the back left, a whole location in style, leaving herself, well, a birdie chance. Little left to right. And it just crept in the right half of the hole. So launching herself up to 5 under par for her round at that point.
Laid up in 2 at the par 5, 14. Fantastic shot, wasn't it? She had a few of those that almost pitched in the hole.
That was really the moment that we saw Klara make a move and saw that she'd hold up under the pressure, popping that putt in for birdie number 6 of the day. She was unflappable out there.
17, she had to make a good up and down, in trouble off the tee, then hit the branches with her second shot, long way in with her third, so really good par save. And at 18, well, she had a chance to clinch it with a birdie putt from around 6 feet, couldn't make it, but instead of 66, just meant she had a little bit of a nervy wait. If she'd have made birdie, obviously, she wouldn't have been made to sweat.
Well, if I know Klara at all, there will be celebrations tonight. She's not one to shy away from those kind of moments. She's been sharing in everyone else's over the last 7 seasons, but tonight, the moment is hers.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming, close to 100 ladies European Tour events, which is incredible in itself for a 22-year-old, isn't it? But Klara Spilkova with that scintillating 66, 8 under par, winning by one shot from Suzann Pettersen. From Pettersen's perspective, more disappointment she felt probably when she looks back, one that got away from her.
I think so. I don't think we saw Suzann's A game, not to take anything away from Klara at all, but Suzann's iron play this week was a little bit lackluster, and she didn't make the putts all the time that we're used to seeing her drop. So still a step in the right direction. She's moving forward with her game this year, but how about Annabel Dimmock? The charge that she put forward, the lowest round in the final group today, and that's something to be proud of.
Yeah, and Georgia Hall as well. You know, not really in the picture in terms of winning, but matching that low round of the week from Spilkova, a 66, and some vital Solheim Cup points for her.
Yeah, definitely, and especially, you know, that was a huge bounce back. 66 for Georgia, 10 shots better than yesterday. So that's the kind of play that you want to see from someone that's going to be on the world stage potentially later this year in August.
Some of the rookies in there, Jan Liu, Incy Mehmet, Jenny Hagland, good weeks from them in what is their first event as ladies European Tour players. Gemma Dryber was leading after day one. Gladys Nacera, twice a champion of this tournament. Round of 70 for her to close, working our way down the leaderboard, leading Moroccan, of course, the Moroccan player Maha Adwi, with a round of 73 to complete her 4 rounds here. Sarah Schober, number 1 on the Axis Series last season. Good final round for her, but a huge day for golf in the Czech Republic. They have a champion. Her name is Klara Spilkova. It's a breakthrough win in Morocco for the 22-year-old. She is the Lalla Meryem Cup champion of 2017. From all of us, bye-bye for now.